Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our transfer student orientation here tonight. My name is Adam Novotny, and I am a program coordinator at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay in our Office of Student Life. And I've been able to work with some wonderful individuals in helping put together this, as well as some other opportunities for you so that you can get a great start here at UW Green Bay. So I want to start out by just saying welcome. We're happy to have you here this evening. We're happy to have you at UW Green Bay this spring and do what we can to help support you as you get started here. So what I would like to do is, one, just make you aware I did start a recording. So we'll be recording this session tonight. It'll be housed on our GB orientation website. So in case you do have to head out at any time, you'll be able to find a recording later on if there's any parts that you missed. I also would like to start off with a land acknowledgement. For UW Green Bay, we at UW Green Bay acknowledge the First Nations people who are the original inhabitants of the region. The Ho-Chunk Nation and the Menominee Nation are the original first people of Wisconsin, and both nations have ancient, historical, and spiritual connections to the land that our institution now resides upon. Today, Wisconsin is home to 12 First Nations communities, including the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin, Forest County Potawatomi, the Ojibwe Nation communities, Stockbridge-Munsee Band of the Mohicans, and the Brothertown Indian Nation. We acknowledge the First Nations people of Wisconsin. Next, this may be the first time that you're using Microsoft Teams, so I want to make sure that you know how to work this event tonight if you're looking to ask some questions. So you may see in your panel that there are some of these things and these symbols. So starting off on the left side, there is a participants panel, so you can use that to see who our presenters are here tonight, as well as any other attendees who are joining us. There is a chat feature. So if you click on the chat feature, that's where you can type if you do have a question and you would like to use that. Otherwise, you can also raise and lower your hand by using that hand button. And then the three dots are just some menu action items. So that's a way to be able to see any kind of other things that you can do in the meeting. The camera, you can use that to click to turn your camera on or off if you'd like to be seen. The microphone then is also your mute button. So if you would like to ask a question to our panel tonight, you can feel free to turn your camera on, unmute yourself, raise and lower your hand, and then mute yourself back when you're done asking your question. And finally, on the right side, you'll find the leave button. So that is how you will be able to leave the meeting tonight when we are all said and done. Next, I wanted to share with you a welcome from some of our administration who also are very happy to have you here this spring. So enjoy.
Hi, my name is Mike Alexander, and I have the honor of being the Chancellor at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. On behalf of all of our faculty, staff, and students, I want to welcome you as new students to our university. We are thrilled to have you here. I know it's unusual circumstances in which you're beginning your career at UW Green Bay, but we are so happy to have you with us and so happy to have you joining a university that is truly on the rise. We continue to grow as a university. We continue to connect to our community, and we continue to make a difference in our region. We're thrilled to have you a part of that process and to hopefully help you reach your goals and dreams for your education and beyond while you're with us. I also want to thank you for taking a chance, for really pushing yourself to rise above the adversity that is happening in our country right now, specifically with the pandemic. I really appreciate you trusting your education with us. We want to do right by that. And I urge you to take advantage of all of the aspects that a university like Green Bay can provide for you, and know that the support that you get while you're here as a student does not end even once you're done being a student.
Sorry, I was receiving a note that you weren't able to see the video. Is that correct? Okay. Let me. Oh, thank you. All right, I will pull it up here another way. That's why technology, you always have to have some backup plans. All right, let's try this again.
Hi, my name is Mike Alexander, and I have the honor of being the Chancellor at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. On behalf of all of our faculty, staff, and students, I want to welcome you as new students to our university. We are thrilled to have you here. I know it's unusual circumstances in which you're beginning your career at UW-Green Bay, but we are so happy to have you with us and so happy to have you joining a university that is truly on the rise. We continue to grow as a university. We continue to connect to our community, and we continue to make a difference in our region. We're thrilled to have you a part of that process and to hopefully help you reach your goals and dreams for your education and beyond while you're with us. I also want to thank you for taking a chance, for really pushing yourself to rise above the adversity that is happening in our country right now, specifically with the pandemic. I really appreciate you trusting your education with us. We want to do right by that. And I urge you to take advantage of all of the aspects that a university like Green Bay can provide for you. And know that the support that you get while you're here as a student does not end even once you're done being a student. That once you're a Phoenix, you're always a Phoenix. And you have a network of amazing faculty, staff, and alumni and your current colleagues that will help support you throughout your careers. So best of luck. I look forward to seeing you as you go through your educational journey and hopefully shaking your hand at the end of it. Take care.
Hi, I'm Kate Burns. I'm the Interim Provost and Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs here at UW-Green Bay. I wanted to take a moment to welcome you to the spring semester. This spring, we're offering courses in a variety of modalities. So we have courses that are online, both synchronous, so that you're meeting all in the same time in a virtual classroom, as well as asynchronous, so you can meet whatever best works with your schedule and complete the work. We also have some courses that are hybrid or blended, so that you are partially online, partially in person, as well as courses that are in person using socially distanced guidelines. So while this semester might be a bit different, a different start to your college career, we are so excited to have you with us. We want to make sure that you get the support that you need. So if you have any questions or concerns at any point, please reach out to your professors. They are here to help you. They are excited about their subject area and wanting to share their expertise with you, and are a great way to make sure you are feeling connected and involved in our university. So welcome again, and I hope that you have a great spring semester.
Good day and welcome to the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. We are excited that you have chosen our institution to advance your academic studies. We hope that while you are with us, that you will engage both inside and outside of the classroom environment with our faculty, our staff, and our students. I invite you to participate in our many co-curricular activities, student organizations, student clubs, our Student Government Association, which speaks to our commitment of shared governance, our University Union, which is the hub and living room of our student activities, our University Recreation Center, our Pride Center, our Multi-Ethnic Student Affairs, MESA. As the Vice Chancellor for University Inclusivity and Student Affairs, I champion our institution's commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion. We will do our best to provide you with a transformational experience that will be both life-changing and diverse. Your holistic development is our commitment. And so we also invite you to engage in our wellness center. Well, we have health services and mental health services to ensure your well-being as a student at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. This pandemic has provided us with some incredible challenges, but our institution has stepped up to the plate to ensure in our variety of modalities that we provide you with the best student experience possible. Thank you again for joining the Phoenix family, and remember, once a Phoenix, always a Phoenix.
Thank you to Chancellor Alexander, Interim Provost Burns, and Vice Chancellor King for filming those to help welcome you here tonight, as well as to campus here for this spring. I realized that I didn't get to share kind of our agenda for tonight. So what we'll be starting off with, I will be doing a brief presentation over some resources that we have on campus. And then following that, we'll be turning it over to our student ambassador team, who will be answering questions that you have for them tonight, as well as any questions that I may think of for them. With the presentation tonight is about the panel. So we just have this brief presentation that I will give to you. If you are joining us tomorrow night, we have the presentations directly from the resources. So if you didn't sign up for tomorrow's and you would still like to, you can certainly do that. Otherwise, there is going to be video recorded as well that you'll be able to find on the website. So I just want to talk about a few resources here tonight: student success and engagement, our GBOS area, academic advising, student accessibility services, the Learning Center, Dean of Students, the Wellness Center, University Union, and Career Services. So a few of these areas, there's certainly more resources that can help build your experience at UW Green Bay that you'll be able to find in addition to these that we're talking about tonight. So I want to start off with the student success and engagement piece. And so Dr. Vince Lowry is the Director of Student Success and Engagement, and he provided 3 tips to help as you're starting out here at UW Green Bay. It's about engaging the experience. So finding those high impact practices that are for you, whether that's internships, as you get into capstones, other ways that you can take what you're learning inside of a classroom and be able to get even more out of your experience. Use your tools. There's plenty of tools that you'll get in your toolbox at UW Green Bay. One is downloading the student success app called Navigate. It's very helpful and useful as you are looking to schedule meetings with academic advisors. You can see upcoming registration information. You can see if there's any holds on your account. So that's a great way to get connected and have that tool right from the beginning. So make sure to go check out the App Store, Google Play, and download Navigate Student. And then building your squad. So this is Dr. Lowry. He would be happy if you would be checking in with him after the first 2 weeks to know how your experience is going at UW Green Bay and what else we can do to be able to help support you as you're starting out. GBOS, which stands for our Green Bay One-Stop Shop. They had some tips for you right now to know about as you're getting started. So one is checking your classes in SIS, and you can do that. You can check your classes to see if they're in person or a virtual modality. When do they meet, as well as if it's available in that Canvas. So Canvas is our digital learning environment that you'll be able to find. And then you'll be able to see if it's been published, that when exactly it's meeting. So look in Canvas to see if your instructor has published the course quite yet. You can check to see about financial aid disbursement if you are using financial aid. And with that, if you're expecting a refund, it's available the first day of classes at the earliest. And if you signed up for the electronic refunding prior to the aid dispersing, it's like a direct deposit. The electronic refund should work. And finally, scholarships for next year, the 2021-22, they have a priority deadline of February 15th. So the scholarships for this academic year have already been given. However, keep that in mind for that priority deadline for February 15th if you're looking for scholarships for the next academic year. I saw we had questions. So orientation tonight, same as tomorrow. If you signed up for both, tonight's is different than tomorrow's. So tonight we have our student ambassadors who will be answering questions. Tomorrow night we'll have the presentations directly from the area offices. So they'll be able to provide a little bit more information. You can ask them some direct questions too. And the orientations are about an hour long that we're expecting for tonight and tomorrow. So thank you for the questions. Thank you, Katie, for answering as well. Next, want to talk about academic advising. So you'll be able to find academic advising also in our Green Bay One-Stop Shop. They are happy to help you as you are going on your journey here at UW Green Bay. So it's understanding those requirements for your major, minor, and gen eds, choosing those classes and creating those schedules for your future, connecting you to those campus resources, depending on your interests that you have as well, and maintaining that graduation timeline, because we all know that we want to keep on that timeline and not get delayed. And major exploration. So if you're looking at a major right now and then you think maybe something else, they are happy to help guide you through that process to make sure that you're not getting delayed in your plan for graduation. And student accessibility services. So this is helpful to keep in mind for students who have disabilities, documented disabilities that need academic or housing accommodations. You can apply for services through the GB Access on the Student Accessibility Services website. So they have there how you can find that on the Apply For tab. If you do not have a documentation, you can look at the forms on the Student Accessibility Services website to see what they have and what you may need. Services that they do provide, they can determine that eligibility of the academic accommodations, such as more time for exams, any assistive technology for notes, alternative formats that may be needed and helpful, specific language impairment, as well as caption media. And we have the contacts there. Once again, if you are coming for tomorrow night, you'll be able to directly meet the people and get their contact information too, to be able to help you, and you can follow up with them too. Then the Learning Center. So wanting to keep in mind as you get going in your time here, that there are people here to help you in your academic studies. So peer tutors are available virtually right now in many of the subjects that you have. There's online tutoring also through BrainFuse that have certified tutors for writing assistance, as well as some subject tutoring. So that's very helpful. If you're in a virtual format, you can easily go on, use your university ID to get your username, as well as using your password like you do for your email to be able to sign in for BrainFuse, to be able to find those tutors who can help you. So keep that in mind. Also, they have professional bilingual academic coach who do remote sessions, and they can help develop those appropriate study skills and learning techniques needed to thrive here in college. Keep in mind these services are free. You can visit the Learning Center website, or you can email sttutor1 for more information. The Dean of Students office. Clearly, I might need some water. Some common reasons for contacting the Dean of Students office could be an illness, an emergency, or bereavement or loss, something that may be taking you away from your time. They can help guide you through that process to be able to notify professors for you. Also, Title IX, discrimination, relationship violence as it comes to if you're an expecting or new parent, anything to deal with sexual harassment, assault, stalking, they're the ones who'll be able to help through that process. And the Dean of Students requests, so it could be following up to faculty or staff concerns. So that's mainly the reasons that you would interact with the Dean of Students office, but they are helpful people there for you. Other services, our Phoenix Cares website is where you can share any welfare concerns for yourself or other students. It's where you can find information for food assistance or housing accommodations, other areas that you'd be able to find assistance as well. And you can report bias incidents. We have a campus that's very inclusive and welcoming, and we want to make sure that we keep it that way. So that's where you'd be able to report if you do find or see any bias incidents during your time. Another area they're helping to navigate right now is through COVID policies and protocols. So keeping this in mind, if you are living on campus, or if you're coming to campus, that you'll be completing self-assessments when you're doing that. I know emails have come out giving more information about that, and if you have questions, we can certainly help answer those tonight. Or if you're coming back tomorrow, they can help answer those too. The self-assessment is a self-check of symptoms to see. You've probably heard about the symptoms now, but that helps guide if you are having any of those symptoms, connecting you to the Office of COVID Response to be able to help support you. There is antigen testing also available on all of our campuses. And for this spring, residential students will be getting tested once a week on campus. And for commuting students, you'll be needing to getting tested once every other week if you are coming to campus for classes. And that ties into our UWGB Wellness Center. They offer medical services as well as counseling services to students for either free of charge or low charge. There are medical examinations, wellness exams, there's other care that you can get there, counseling services, there's that personal counseling, crisis intervention, they offer skills workshops, as well as referral services too. So keep that in mind. I know I'm not going as in detail, so if you're coming back once again tomorrow, you'll be able to hear even more about what they offer. Our university union, as Vice Chancellor King talked about, is like the living room of campus. Inside it, you'll be able to find the University Ticketing and Information Center. That's where you'll get your student ID if you'll be in person at the University Ticketing and Information Center, so you can get your picture taken and get your ID free of charge when you first come to campus. There's also the UW Credit Union if you're looking to open an account. the Phoenix Bookstore if you're looking to rent or purchase books for your classes, as well as get any UWGB gear to show off. The Multi-Ethnic Student Affairs Office, Pride Center, and Student Life are all housed in our university union. So that's the place where you can find and get connected to other students as well as staff who are happy to support you. Our dining marketplace is in our union, so our All You Care to Eat facility, our coffee house, our Phoenix Club, and Green Bay Grill. So a number of areas that you'd be able to get food in our university union, as well as our commuter lounge, where you can, if you're commuting to campus, you'll be able to have a lounge to relax in when you have some time between classes, and meeting rooms that are used not only for orgs when they're meeting, but also for events that take place on campus. And career services. So career services, it's important to start thinking about. They can help you explore those majors as well as career options, and then finding jobs and internships. So never too early to start preparing for that future. They can also help you in developing those professional skills like the resumes, getting you ready for interviews, and also networking, and applying to graduate and professional school programs if that's what you're looking for as well. So once again, I had mentioned that that was the quick guide through some of the resources that we have on campus. There's also many more that we have, and we can certainly go into that with our student ambassadors to talk about other resources that they know about. But tonight is really about knowing what questions you have as you get started here at UW Green Bay. And we have our ambassadors here who are happy to help share more about their experience and answer those questions. So without further ado, I would like to turn it over to them to introduce themselves, a little bit about themselves before we get started, and then we can hop into questions. So let's start off with Erica.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to UW Green Bay. My name is Erica Kennard, and I am a junior studying business administration, marketing, and communication, and I'm originally from Menominee, Wisconsin. I'll pass it off to Ben.
Hi, everyone. It's really good to meet all of you, and welcome to UW Green Bay. So my name is Ben Dresdo, and I'm a junior here on campus. I'm a major in psychology with a minor in Spanish, and I'm pursuing my master's in sports performance and exercise psychology. I'm originally from Fort Atkinson. That's about 3 hours south of here.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Nick. I am a senior here at Green Bay, and I'm majoring in democracy and justice studies with a criminal justice emphasis and a minor in psychology. And I'm originally from Eagle, Wisconsin, which is about 2 hours south of here. It's in Waukesha County.
All right. Saving the best for last. My name is Andy Weigel. I am a junior studying mechanical engineering and originally from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, about 45 minutes south of Green Bay.
Right, thank you for sharing. So once again, if you have questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand and ask it directly to our student ambassadors who we have here tonight. If there are none to begin with, I'll just start off with a softball to you all of what made you want to come to UW Green Bay. Let's start with, I'm going to start with Andy.
You're really throwing a curveball here, Adam. This is a very good question. So what kind of brought me here was, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is nice. You know, back home, that's kind of how I grew up. I lived outside city limits, if you will. So you're kind of secluded off. You're in a safe area, but also, and most importantly, they had mechanical engineering, and it was it's a newer program. So that with that, there's a lot of different opportunities you can get through that. There's a whole bunch of different new employers that are looking at Green Bay students and all sorts of stuff. And one thing that I've been able to do now is part of engineering club. So I've been a instrumental part of the development of that now, which is a really exciting thing.
Thank you, Andy. Let's go next to Nick.
Well, I mean, one of the things that brought me to, Adam, actually, there's a question in chat. Would you rather I answer that one?
No, we'll do this question first. And then
All right.
You're
Sounds
getting
good. All right.
ahead of us.
Gotcha. I guess what really brought me here is just that when I transferred here, I transferred from Carroll, and that's kind of like a school that's in like the center of the city, and I definitely part of it was all the trees and stuff because I definitely am from like small town USA, so I like having a little bit of space between the buildings, but also what I really liked was that their psychology program is super, super good here. Like it is. Yeah, exactly, man. It is good here. And I mean that, and also like I already knew some people that were here, so that was super nice. And then I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what initially brought me here, but like there's so much other stuff that's like so great here. So that was just like the first initial things.
Right. And how about you, Erica?
One of the things that really attracted me to UW Green Bay when I first visited was that all of the ambassadors that I made connections with that day kept talking about all of the big connections that they made at the university and how that was landing them different internships, extracurricular activities, jobs within the city of Green Bay and even surrounding areas. And I just saw a lot of opportunity to grow as an individual and within my field of business. And that was just really exciting. And then, especially being from a rural area such as Menominee, Wisconsin, I was really attracted to just the scenery of UW Green Bay and how campus was surrounded by an arboretum and all the trails, lots of ways to just be active and enjoy nature, which is what I really enjoy. So.
Thank you, Erica. And Ben, finish us off.
For sure. So the two major themes I'm hearing from my other ambassadors, I 100% agree with. One being the connections that you make on campus, and number two, just the scenery and how beautiful the campus itself is. Looking back to when I applied here, I'm driving 3 hours up here to take a tour. I felt like it would have to be a really impressive experience that first time coming here, and it absolutely was. Just hearing about the connections you can make on campus, and then specifically within the psychology program, actually being able to get an in-depth look at some of those professors and kind of seeing how engaging they are. And then actually coming here and getting proven right at absolutely every professor I've seen, not only in the psychology program, but in all the other different domains that I've taken classes in. You just get a really big connection. And if you meet them halfway, that's when you get internships, work opportunities, and really cool ways to advance yourself. I just remember really wanting to see like a path for me for success, wanting to go to a college. And I saw like a road when I came here. Obviously, I didn't know the exact path, but I really felt like putting in the work over time, I would be able to get somewhere good.
All right, thank you. And yeah, we'll go into the chat with the first questions. Thank you for those who have sent us questions so far. So how hard was it navigating the campus website for the first time? I'm worried I'll be so lost.
By that, do you mean like D2L? Because that's what we use for a lot of the online classes. And actually, I have quite a bit of experience with that because at Carroll, we use D2L. And then I came here and I forget what we used. We used it. I had to switch systems to go here. And then I had to switch back to D2L, which is what we're on now. So definitely like, it's like, I mean, it's just like, just like with, I saw one about the roads. It's just the more time you spend with it, the easier it gets. It's pretty self-explanatory as is, but I mean, for the most part, I just end up clicking on the little assignments tab and it just tells me what's due and when it's due. So it's pretty easy to navigate overall. I wouldn't be worried about it.
Gotcha. Other thoughts?
So by D2L, I think Nick means Canvas, which is the platform that we actually currently use. We used to use D2L, but now we've switched to the platform called Canvas. And essentially Canvas is where your professors are going to put all the material that you need for the semester regarding assignments, big projects, expectations, syllabus. Literally everything you need is going to be within Canvas, and it's all going to be sorted by class. And like Nick was saying, there's different parts of Canvas that you can click on, such as like assignments tabs where it'll lay out everything in a calendar, when it's due, what it is for what class and all that. And then you can also look at grades. You can go into discussions to talk with other classmates. And it is pretty simple when you go in there. It's laid out really well. I don't think you should worry whatsoever. And even just taking a step back and looking at the whole UWGB website as a whole, it's really nice because they just redid it in the last year. So if you go to the home page and click on the menu, they'll have at the bottom, there's like email, Canvas, and SIS, which are the three main things that you're probably going to be using on that website. So it's all pretty straightforward, and I don't think you should have to worry about it.
I am going to add one more thing about just the website in general. At first, it is very overwhelming, but they have a handy thing called the search bar that will save your behinder there. So the website, the Green Bay website, very easy to navigate and everything in through there. But we'll also do have a search bar. You'll find anything and everything you want to see.
Thank you all for that. Next question. So campus seems so spread out with lots of roads, etc. Is there a trick to keeping things straight as far as where to go? Let's see, we'll start off with that one, that first part of that question. So thoughts, yeah, there's a lot of trees and trails. So how do you keep things straight?
Yeah, so I would say the campus as a whole, once you actually get on campus and you're looking around a bit, I would say it's kind of easy to navigate because it's broken down into like three main areas. So you got most of the residential buildings in a cluster towards the north side of campus. And then 2-3 sidewalks will lead you to the Union and Marion Coffer. And once you get there, that connects your Union, the library, to all of the academic buildings. So the only walk that you're doing outside is really going to be from your residential building or the parking lot if you are living off campus or commuting directly into that Union. And then you're able to navigate the tunnels to get to the rest of the academic buildings. So say you are a commuter student, there's a parking lot in front of the Union where lots of commuter students are going to park. That's right in the Union. Once you walk inside and go downstairs, you're able to use the tunnels to get to the rest of the academic areas.
Right. And how about also with being mostly virtual, how do you stay connected with other students and professors to make sure that they get to know you for potential recommendations?
I would say definitely try to utilize, I guess, if you're mostly online, there's not really like office hours, but like your professors will still give you hours where you can, or I guess optional like sessions where you can go in and ask questions and stuff. I would say definitely utilize those. If you do have in-person classes, definitely go to office hours if they're offered. That's a huge one. It's not only, office hours aren't only like if you just have questions about the course or whatever. I went to office hours with one of my professors and we would just hang out and talk. And he wrote me exactly for that reason, because then I asked him to write me a letter of recommendation and he was like, oh yeah, sure thing. So definitely I would say office hours or like optional sessions that not everyone's going to go to, but if you go to them, like you'll stick out for sure.
I just want to add to that and say there's a lot of little things that as a student you can be doing to help stand out in that sense, such as Nick was saying about going to those optional office hours, taking the time to write an email and ask for clarification on something or just check in about a certain project or assignment, staying active on discussions, replying to your fellow classmates on those discussions, and even as simple as making sure that all of your assignments are turned in a pretty timely manner.
Yeah, I definitely want to co-sign on what Erica said there, especially with the emails. So just this last week, on a Saturday, I emailed a professor looking at master's schools around Wisconsin. I wanted to meet with her and just kind of get a feel for some master's program around the state. It was on a Saturday over winter break. and she replied to me by Sunday morning. And I've had a lot of experiences like just like kind of sending out like a quick email. It's kind of impressive how quickly they get back to you. I've had other professors who I swear they've already had their email written up by the time I hit send. It's honestly pretty impressive, and I would definitely encourage, there's just those little things where they really are eager to connect with students. So if you have questions, really don't hesitate to, reach out.
All right. And how about as far as like what there is to do on campus, especially in a virtual format? How can you still stay virtually engaged as a student if you do happen to be remote?
I guess the other job I have on campus, we've really tackled that question pretty considerably, especially over this last semester, how to engage commuter students, online students, and even students on campus, because we have to do a lot of that virtually. A couple cool things that we were able to do are some virtual shows. For example, we had Jim Wand, a hypnotist, come on and actually do a hypnotist show live in front of 8 people who they hypnotized, and it was streamed over Zoom, and we had like 80 to 100 people watching that Zoom throughout that night. So we were able to have like a stream production of an entertainment kind of streamed out to people. And we've tried really hard to have some interactive events as well. How we put on like a virtual improv show. We had a group of students come on and like do different improv games. Nick and Andy actually participated in that and were tremendously helpful in putting that event together. And we've had a lot of really cool things, even some limited ones where we still can get them in person. We've had some take and make crafts, like some Zen gardens, some different like care packages we were able to do. And there's some cool things. And for all of those things, we have a couple of different ways to get in touch of how to find those. You can check out the master calendar on the UWGB website. You can follow GTP on Facebook. There's a lot of different things where you're able to kind of see what's going on. And we always would say in previous semesters that we average about 1 event a day throughout the semester. And I don't think that changed at all virtually. Like our organization is doing a lot of different events, but there's tons of other organizations that are doing events too.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah, there are virtual Kahoot challenges if you want to test some trivia. There's bingos you can do. As Ben mentioned, there's crafts that we even can ship supplies out. So if you aren't in the Green Bay area and you still want to do something, we can certainly get things to you. So keep that in mind. Here's a question that gets right to the heart of the 4 that we have here on the panel. So how do you become an ambassador?
All right, we're gonna take this one here. So with any job, there is a application that you got to go and do and fill out. And you can be realistically of any standing in school in order to do this. So you go in, you fill out an application, and then you go through an interview process. That interview process is in, I think, 2 different parts, all in one interview thing. And then voila, you have the opportunity to be selected as an ambassador, but that's the application process for that.
Any parts to add? Or also, what does being an ambassador entail? You're here on the panel tonight, but what else might you do for UW Green Bay?
We kind of go for it. You're the boss.
So, as Nick alluded to, I am the co-director of the University Student Ambassadors. So with Adam, I help with my other co-director, Pablo, to oversee our approximately 40 student ambassadors on campus. So student ambassadors are responsible for a lot of different things. Obviously, we're here talking to you on this panel tonight, but we do a lot of daily tours. In the case of COVID right now, we're doing virtual tours and online events for prospective students as well. During the summer, we have our ambassadors write to incoming freshmen and make connections with them as they look to start their journey at UW Green Bay. And then they also will help with the freshman orientation and freshman welcome week as well when students are on campus. And then aside from those events that I just listed, there's a lot of different departments across UW Green Bay that will reach out to us and ask if we can help them with their events as well. So like we've had the chancellor's office reach out to us before, and we've worked events for them. Different like schools across UW Green Bay will reach out, such as like the business school or like the psychology department, just to name a few. So yeah, we work a lot of events throughout the year, and it's a lot of fun just to get to know new students or current students and make those connections.
Thank you, Erica. Someone asked, where can you apply? On our student life website, there's an area for student employment. And so there is where you can find the job description and what that lays out, and then also the link to be able to apply. So we always, we know all of you bring such unique perspectives. So we always are looking to have those perspectives on our ambassador team to be able to share that with prospective students and then also incoming students. So feel free to check it out. All right, next question. So I am transferring in and have nothing but heavy science and math classes in my future. What kind of experience should I expect with doing these lab classes online? Doesn't seem like it would work out very well. Any experiences with the lab classes?
Okay, this is where I shine here. So I had my physics class last year worked as a hybrid where we had a lab and then a discussion, and then the lecture itself. So the lecture was online, and then the lab and discussion were in person. So on a lot of your science-y lab classes, 9 times out of 10, especially right now, your labs will be in person. And then your like class lecture stuff will probably be online. Math classes, it really depends on what class you're taking. I had Calc 3 last semester, and that was in person, which was really nice. There are other ones that I've seen them last semester, they were virtual, or some of them were and some of them weren't. So with that, it kind of depends on the class. Whatever you do have to take math and science-wise, if it's offered in person, I'd take that, because with those types of classes, it just works better like that. But right now, your labs will definitely be in person, and then math classes, it really depends on which class you take. So be sure to take a look-see on the SIS and see if it's online or a hybrid or whatever. But that's that for you.
Thank you, Andy. Next question. So I will be majoring in psychology. Is it easier to complete classes in person, or can I do mostly online? And honestly, any major would fit for this question.
Yeah, so specifically for psychology, the department made the decision for past semester and into this semester to offer all their classes completely virtually. And I would say and because of that, you can get basically any class right now in that psychology department online. And I found with that transition, it's still been pretty easy to kind of still maintain those strong connections. 2 professors I've never had in person, but I've had this past semester, and I deliberately chose to have them again because of how well they did those online classes. So I would say just for psychology, and I'm sure other majors, they've done things a little differently, especially considering labs and certain things, but specifically for psychology, they're planning to do them all virtually this semester. Going ahead, we'll have to see.
Any others about majors online versus in person?
I'll just add, and I'll say that as a business major, it's much like the psychology department where pretty much any and all of the classes are offered online for you, but there's quite a few classes that are still offered in person if you like that better, or in a hybrid version as well where it's half online and half in person. But like I just alluded to, it really depends on what kind of person you are and what you prefer. If you do better in an in-person setting, then that option is still there for you. But if you thrive online and you can make it work well, then by all means go for it if that's what fits your schedule better.
Right, thank you. Next in the chat, there was hello all. Feels sort of old here. I was wondering what percentage of older students attend UW Green Bay. For example, I'm 46 and currently employed as a sales engineer and retired from the U.S. Navy. Well, thank you for your service in the U.S. Navy. Ambassadors, I don't know if you have that necessarily. I know that as I was looking out of our student population, that's about 7,000 students. I know that there's over 3,000 that are part-time students. So, you know, full-time, maybe students who are mainly, you know, on campus and whatnot, but there are a good number of part-time students who are taking classes too at UW Green Bay. So I wouldn't say that, you know, you're one of the only, you're definitely one of the many who are taking classes here part-time while working. Ambassadors, any other thoughts to that?
Well, I saw the, sorry, you go.
No, Ben, take it away.
Okay, sorry. I looked it up. I'm not sure how recent this one is, but the University of Wisconsin, 13% of students are 35 and over. 22% are between the ages of 30 to 34. So around that age, so a pretty decent chunk.
I can also say that I've had many classes in person where I've gotten to sit by older students, and honestly, they were always the ones to make my day. They were the most excited to be there, and they just made it great. So.
Great, thank you. And then I see in the chat we got some stuff for Go Navy. So already finding some commonalities here tonight. So perfect. Right, and then let's see. Michael says, Erica, I am also a business admin major. Any professors that have stood out to you in School of Business or must-take professors?
That's a great question. I'll start by saying that I haven't had a bad professor in the School of Business. I've loved every professor that I've had. They've all done an excellent job of making a connection with me as a student and making sure that all of my needs are being met, and that if I have any questions, they get addressed immediately. But as far as standout professors, as far as like human resources goes, I've loved Heather Clark. When I took business statistics, I loved Pooja Agarwal. Now I'm a tutor for her, which is really awesome and a really fun experience. Trying to think of other professors. Oh, for marketing, I absolutely love Kathy McKee. I've had her for a lot of classes now, so that's just a couple. But like I said, you really can't go wrong with any of them. They're all phenomenal, and I've never had any issues with any of them. So.
Thank you. How about what has been your toughest obstacle that you've had to overcome for your entire college schooling? Trying to see, I see some deep thinking going on with the ambassadors. Who will be first or ready to go?
I feel like that's I don't want to say, I feel like this for sure, having everything go online, especially in the middle of a semester, was that was definitely quite the obstacle to deal with for sure. But I mean, like I can't really think of any other obstacles that would quite compare to having, you know, the entire country shut down and all your classes be moved from in person to online in the span of 2 weeks. So I mean, honestly, and we all made it through that pretty easy, like not easily, but like we managed and we all made it through. So I feel like yeah, I feel like there's really not much that can really phase me at this point. Like
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Nick there. There's the whole COVID thing was really a big shake. Now you're going from, oh, everything's normal, and then all of a sudden not anymore. So that was a big jump. That was a hard bridge to cross, but survived, and here we are.
I'd say setting COVID aside, one of the biggest obstacles for me was freshman year when I discovered that what I originally came to UW Green Bay for wasn't what I wanted to do. I originally came for a pre-med track and discovered pretty quick that it wasn't for me. And so I felt like I was going through this crisis of some sort, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life and what fit me best as a person. But I utilized the resources such as the ones that Adam talked about earlier, like academic advising, going to GBOS, talking with career services, and they did a lot to help me discover that business admin and communication was a good path for me.
Yeah, I guess if besides COVID and the obvious things there, I think my biggest challenge came maybe that first day when I got to campus. I came from a place where I didn't know a single other person that got here to this campus, so I was pretty nervous, kind of just getting started. And then that kind of withered away by day 2, day 3, just being overwhelmingly welcomed in this positive way by the student ambassadors and making connections with different students. And I felt that anxiety dissipate pretty quickly. And I would say the same can be for you. And really what it took is just kind of break out of that shell. I always say on a lot of the tours that I go to is when you come to college, even as a transfer, you're going to a place where no one really knows you. So you really can just, whatever you say about yourself to people that you just meet for the first time, that's all they know about you. And that can be freeing in a lot of ways and gives you an opportunity to explore who you are in a lot of ways.
All right, and there was a question about if can I explain the COVID testing requirement and how that works? Yeah, so it's going to go into more detail tomorrow with the resources, and if you can't make it tomorrow night, we'll have that video to post to on the GB orientation site. But as far as the testing goes, there is testing available free on campus in our CREST Center for students. And so if you are living on campus in housing, they have emails, they have schedules that come out, so then you know when you're going on a weekly basis. If you are commuting and going to be coming to campus, you'll schedule that on a bi-weekly basis, so every other, through the My Prevea app. You'll be able to schedule when you go in there, you'll get your testing, and then there's a daily assessment that you fill out. You can either fill out via your phone or your laptop before you're coming to campus. So all with safety in mind, making sure to be able to keep from any spread happening on campus. But they can certainly go into more detail with the resources. But ambassadors, any other, from experiencing the COVID testing, anything about that process that you'd like to share about your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to, I guess, clarify. It's super easy. It takes like less than 5 minutes. And it's at the Crest too, so usually I'll just go in and they'll do the test, and I'll be in and out there in like 2 or 3 minutes, and I can just go right to the Crest and like work out. And it's over by the parking lot too, so a lot of times if you're commuting, commuters park your car in the Crest lot anyway because it's close to Mac, so you'll be right there. And yeah, it's like super easy. I signed up today. I went and I signed up for it like half an hour before I went. So it's a breeze.
All right, next question. So I graduated in 2007 and coming back for psychology. I am a mom and work full time, so I'm nervous to come back. Any helpful suggestions on how to juggle it all and be successful / a standout?
I guess one of the biggest things I want to address right away is that if you are feeling any type of nervousness or hesitation, like do express that to your professor right away, and they'll make sure that they're doing all they can to help you and that you have all of the resources that you need to be successful. Most of the time, they'll be more than willing to help work around you and your schedule and really make sure that you have everything you need in order to get an A in the class or whatever your desired end goal is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I just want to add, well, congratulations on coming back. It feels like an I am not a mom. So it feels like an honor in a way to answer that question, just understanding how much you have to balance there being a parent and coming to school. And I don't know, it's inspiring when I meet people like that. They're willing to do that. So as a student who is not a mom, I can say that juggling all these things, notwithstanding parenthood, is that you just kind of got to be mindful of yourself and where your emotions are on the daily. Keeping that assessment of where you're at with your classes is one thing, but also just making sure there's gas in the tank and mileage. Where are you able to get through the week? Are you allocating like that mental side of it too? Like, I don't know, just being able to be mindful each day and not overworking yourself, underworking, just being able to, that creates a fulfilling experience. And coming back to school, it's really cool that you have the motivation to come back and do that. And I don't know, just congratulations.
Yeah, and I would just add that, getting connected with the resources that I talked about, as people think about college, they may think about traditional students, but really the resources, we're here for everyone, all the UW Green Bay students that are coming. So whether you're traditional student, transfer student, non-traditional student, we are here to make sure that you are on that right path to graduation. So just know that we are here for you to help you succeed all along the way. There was another question. So I saw in the Canvas orientation course, there's a proper way to email your professors. Have you found that to be true with most of them? Good question.
I would say definitely start off formal with any professor, just as like a general rule. But I can confidently say that 100% of my experiences have been me sending a formal email to my professor and them responding like it's a text. So definitely, I would suggest starting off formal, because you never know, anyone could be different, but most of the email conversations usually devolve from there pretty quickly.
One tip that I will include as well is when you are drafting your email, in your email title, it's always good to put what class and what section of the class you're in that you're emailing for, and even your name, because it'll just help professors a lot as they're trying to identify who you are and what question you're asking. So remember that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off of Nick here. It really depends on the professors. Some of them are a bit more formal than others when you're communicating with them, but it is always good to start out as a formal thing, and then as you get to know them, it kind of goes to be more casual and stuff. But there's no really proper way to do it. It's kind of however you feel it needs to be communicated, as long as it sounds good and it doesn't sound like garbage.
All right, we have a question about books. So what's the best way to get your books? Is it online versus at the bookstore? I'm really hoping to get physical books and not only ebooks. Are you able to get hard copy textbooks for most classes?
The bookstore does carry a lot of, obviously all their books pretty much are like physical copies, but they do tend to run out pretty quickly, especially if you take your time. If that does happen, definitely what I would suggest doing is getting rentals on Barnes and Noble or Amazon, because I've done that personally, and it's really nice because especially with either of those, both their systems work pretty much the same, where if you rent a book from them, like if you don't want to buy it, you just keep the box that the book came in. I think it was Amazon even sends return like labels that you can put on the box when your rental is up. So at that point, it's just getting it to a post office. So there's definitely a ton of options for getting physical books.
I think it's important to note too that our bookstore also does offer rental options as well. And most of the time, the rental options and the digital options are going to be cheaper than just like buying a textbook, for example. So it's just something to take into consideration. And another thing to take into consideration is what type of classes as well. Like If you're buying books for more science or math-based lab classes, then it might be more helpful to have that hard copy book. But if it's like a business or communication class, like I'm taking myself, I've typically found that it's worth just getting the digital books because you're not using them as often.
And I just threw in the chat the link that would get you to the Phoenix bookstore to look through your textbooks and course materials. So if you haven't had a chance yet, feel free to use that. We are coming here towards the end, so if you do have any last burning questions for our ambassadors tonight, feel free to put them quick in the chat and we can get to them. Otherwise, to our ambassadors that we have here, would you mind putting your email in the chat just in case any of the guests here tonight wants to follow up with any questions after tonight? And before we close for the night, I did want to share and show a few last things just for people to be aware of. I did mention that there would be the recording of this, so I can show you where that will be. So that you'll be able to find on our GB orientation website. So there's a lot of resources on here. So after today, be sure to go and peruse here. It's just uwgb.edu/GB-orientation. And so here for the transfer welcome, where we had information about options, this is where you'll be able to find the recording, not only for tonight's, but also tomorrow's. And also I did want to point out that if you do have family members who would like to join, we have a family session that's going on next Tuesday, January 26th at 6 p.m. So it's all about how they can continue to support you as your UWGB student. So there's the button there that you can register them so they can get sent the link. Also following tonight, there's going to be a survey that'll come out to you. So please just provide us some feedback and let us know if there's still questions that you do have after tonight. And one area that I did want to point out here on the website is resources. So here there's a guidebook that you can download and it'll pull up. It's our spring 2021 guidebook. So it has a bunch of resources, some of which I talked about tonight, but then others that I didn't. So feel free to pull that up, download it. It'll be really helpful for you as you're getting started as well to see the different resources that we have and just get more information about campus. So I see no other questions for tonight. So with that, I think we will thank our panelists for joining us tonight. Thank you, ambassadors, and thank you to all of you for joining us here tonight. We really appreciate it. Once again, don't hesitate to reach out for anything so we can help guide you along here as you're getting started at UW Green Bay. Seeing all the thank yous, warm and fuzzies. All right. Thank you once again, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your night.